Hello, fourth grade parents. We've created this presentation to give you an idea about what your children are experiencing here in school during the second unit of our reading and writing workshop in fourth grade. Reading the Weather, Reading the World is our second unit in reading workshop. And Boxes and Bullets, Personal and Persuasive Essays is our second unit in fourth grade. Now, I don't know if many of you have experienced this in school, but it wasn't so long ago where we had Encyclopedia Britannica books and we would decide about a research topic and be assigned it and then go home and find interesting facts and basically kind of just say the same thing that it said in the encyclopedia, and that was our report. Well, given the way things are today, given our times and the amount of information that is available to each and every one of us, how many of us take our phone and Google this or that if we have a question about a trivial item or something even more particular that we need to find out about? Our world is vast in terms of the information available, and also there's much more of an understanding that there are real issues in our world that really require that we develop a deep sense of being able to think deeply about things, to be able to make decisions about what's right and what's wrong, to be able to look at evidence that supports different sides, to be able to make a decision about whether what I'm reading is really credible evidence or not, and then to be able to take a stance and then to be able to support my stance with real evidence from different researchers, and then to be able to come together and collaborate with others in terms of what I think is important and how I think it's important and what I think it is that we should do about various situations. Here in Connecticut, for example, we're having issues around drought. And so just that in and of itself leads us to understanding about what are things that we need to do to be able to care for and to be considerate as it relates to our water supply. And then we look at the global landscape and the amount of information and the things that are going on in our world that are quite daunting. And so our children are being faced, and we're being faced with lots of opportunities to really understand better about what issues face us, and then what we feel, what we know, what we come to understand about what we can do about it. So this second unit, is building from last year in third grade and really taking a look at who am I as a researcher? What is my responsibility as a researcher? And then how can I communicate what I've learned in a way that will help others to understand more about a topic, as well as to be able to make some decisions about actions that need to be taken in relation to the different problems that we're encountering. So we're all about creating inventive, thoughtful researchers, collaborators, and problem solvers. Citizenship in the 21st century demands that we know how to think deeply, to reason, analyze, weigh evidence, problem solve, and communicate effectively. So we start out our reading unit taking a look at how do I really read nonfiction well? And these are some anchor charts or tools that we use as teachers to help jog memories around the different lessons that we're doing as a part of this unit. So we look at making connections to texts in a meaningful way, previewing the whole text and predicting how it might go, getting our brains ready to take in the new learning about the topic that we're coming to understand and know more about, figuring out the text structure and then use it to determine importance. So how did the author choose to lay this out? Is it a problem solution kind of structure? Is it a cause and effect, a compare and contrast? How is this organized? Is it main idea and then details to support? And then we learn about tackling the hard parts. Nonfiction texts or informational texts can be very complex, especially as we're approaching up into the upper grades. We have to be able to know, how do I tackle when there's challenging parts to what I'm reading, when I'm coming to know and understand about a topic more in harder text. Noticing if the text is a mixture or a hybrid of different types of structures, a combination of cause and effect, maybe some narrative. So it sounds like a story, but it's really giving you information as it relates to the topic that you're researching. Figuring out the meaning of unknown words. Oftentimes, especially in scientific texts and even in social studies, there's content area words that are very unfamiliar, and we need to figure out a way to understand about how do we get to the meaning of those, and even how do we decode those. And then we get into researching. So researching well. How do I research well? Well, first I have to get ready. I used to use little note cards, and I don't know how many of you are as old as me, but I used to have the note cards and I would organize them that way. And you're going to find some of those same kinds of ideas your children are going to be incorporating into their research. So getting ready. We start by reading texts that are well within our capability to understand. So we could read a lot about a topic and not be so challenged by the text complexity. But as we get to know more about the topic, then we're encouraging and showing our readers and writers about how they can reach different levels of understanding and tackle those complex texts. We're going to get organized and structure our notes based on the structure of whatever it is that we're reading. We're going to synthesize or put together what we're learning across different texts, not only just books or even ebooks or digital books, but videos, clips from YouTube, clips from different video venues or digital venues where we're getting more information about topics. That's a part of our research as well. And then we're going to write to grow our own ideas about a topic based on all the different types of research that we're investigating and learning more about as it relates to the topic that we're learning. Looking at different structures and the way different types of texts are organized helps us to not only take notes, but also helps us to get ready for as we're going to be approaching writing. And writing about what we've come to know and understand so that we can teach others about it. And that brings us to our second unit in writing. Our second unit in writing is boxes and bullets, personal persuasive essays. This is a time for children to really get started around taking a stance as it relates to something that's really important to them. So in this unit, they're actually going to learn about thesis statements. They're going to learn about what a thesis statement is. How do I word a thesis statement? Then, how do I structure an essay with evidence to support my thesis statement? And then particular ways that I elaborate my understanding about a topic and take a stance as it relates to that topic. The kind of work that we're doing here really is work that is for a lifetime. So we're going to take a look at taking a subject that matters to me and listing ideas related to that subject, taking one of those ideas and writing about it, observe and then write. The thought I have about this is, so some examples of this have been within the school environment, children noticing that they don't have enough time to eat lunch, let's say. And so they start talking about ways that they can approach that topic. Let writing spark new thoughts. So getting in our writer's notebooks, really coming up with something that means something that we feel strongly about, and then really writing in our notebook and getting those ideas down, and then rereading earlier writing and asking questions about those entries. So it's really about making our thinking visible in our writers' notebooks, and then taking that thinking and developing that thinking. And then we talk about qualities of good free writing. So it's not just about sitting down and just writing anything. There is definitely a way in which we can grow ideas through our writers' notebooks. So writing freely, letting the thoughts flow, writing long to make ideas stronger, making comparisons to help readers understand, not crossing stuff out, just writing. Repeat the big idea over and over, trying to get it right. That's the thesis statement that they're going to be working on. Staying for a long time on one big idea, going from big ideas to small examples and back, coming up with new ideas, and then raising questions, always raising questions. So you can see that there's an awful lot involved in fourth grade in the second unit of reading and writing. We know our children are up to the challenge. They've shown us that. And so we encourage you to ask them about what are the topics that mean something to them. Ask them about their research projects and what it is they're coming to learn, know, and understand. And then asking them to show you, or even encouraging them to write in the writer's notebooks at home, to bring those ideas into the classroom, to do that research that will lead them further and further into understanding about themselves and the world that they're in.